Hi, I'm Valerie, and I'm here to tell you about our Disney experiences. So up first, rope drop versus late start. How did you do it? After we got back from our latest Disney vacation, everybody asked me, how did you do rope drop? So I thought I'd give you some clues and some tricks that I found that were really helpful when we were doing rope drop this past vacation. So first, I'm going to tell you what rope drop is because a lot of people don't know what rope drop is because I actually didn't know before we did it. So rope drop is where you get to the park at least a half an hour before the park opens. And when I say a half an hour, I mean at least a half an hour. If you get there 15 minutes before, if you get there right on time when it's open, you're done. You've missed rope drop. So rope drop is something that happens before the park opens. A lot of times they'll even let you in at maybe 15 minutes before the park opens and they'll start walking you back to where you need to go to. I'll explain a little bit more about that later. Rope drop is really getting there early. You can ride the rides that are open that early and get on some of the more popular rides first. So that really works out going to rope drop. So I recommend that for everybody because we just got so much done in the mornings. And then we were able to kind of go back to our hotel room and kind of get in the pool or take a nap or have a late lunch. That was really neat, especially in July is when we went the last time. And hot summer days usually rains in Florida in the middle of the afternoon. Some thunderstorm pops up. So it was great. So when it was getting ready to rain or getting cloudy, we were done with the park. We went back to the hotel, hang out, we relax, and come on back out later. So that was a great experience. You also get to beat the crowds. So when you're going there, you're beating the crowds, you're able to go in and get all the rides done before half the people are even up in the morning. You're able to take a long lunch. We did is we went to Be Our Guest restaurant when we were in Magic Kingdom, when we did the Magic Kingdom rope drop day. That was great because we had a lot of rides done, and then we had an early lunch about 11:30, and then we were able to continue and go back on our rides and keep doing what we were doing. So that worked out really well. The Flight of Passage, this was a great thing. We did Flight of Passage on our vacation 3 times, and the longest wait we had was 15 minutes. Now, this was in July, during the summer, the busiest month of the year. I'll tell you a little bit about that and how we did it on another video. Some of the things that people worry about when they're going, they're thinking, oh my gosh, that's really early to get up. How am I going to get moving? How am I going to get everybody out? Or how are we going to eat first? I'll give you some of the cons first. Some of the things that kind of people think, oh, this is why I can't do it. So some of the cons to doing early rope drop were complaining kids. Now, for me, I did have complaining kids, but I've got teenagers, and so I didn't give them a choice. I told them, listen, we're getting up early, we're doing the rope drop, and then they can have the rest of the day to themselves. That was really awesome because once we finished doing the family stuff together in the morning and doing rope drop and getting on all the fun rides together, my two went off and they did their own thing and I didn't see them again until later. So that was great. So that worked out for them and they actually really appreciated that and appreciated the time. Another con, I would say Magic Kingdom. So the Magic Kingdom didn't really work out the way I intended it to because when we went for the Magic Kingdom and we thought we were going to do rope drop, I thought we were going to be able to go over to Frontierland and Adventureland. And of course, it turns out during their magic hours or their early morning hours or even their rope drop, they only open Tomorrowland and Fantasyland. My kids are bigger. They didn't really want to do the Fantasyland thing. And we already had fast passes for mine trains, so we didn't want to do that. So we kind of had to reroute what we were going to do, but it still worked out. We ended up going on Space Mountain, doing a couple other things, and Buzz Lightyear, those things that get a little bit busier. So it did work out. It just didn't work out the way that we had initially planned. And then also early magic hours. This can be a pro and a con. So the thing about early magic hours is that it's great because the crowds are lower, because the only people that can go to early magic hours are people that are staying on property. So we were staying on property. It's great, we can go. But the con to that is that you have to get up even earlier. Usually the park will open at 9, but now there's extra magic hours, and sometimes it's an hour or 2 hours, so maybe now it's 8. So now I'm getting up and I have to be there by 7:15 or 7:30. So that kind of throws it off a little bit, but it's still worth it. So you have less people, only those on property, and you're there first. That con kind of turns into a pro. Really hard to get up, but totally worth it. Some of the tricks of the trade that I learned doing the rope drop. First of all, one of the days we actually took a minivan. That worked out great because even though it's rope drop and you think, oh, who's getting up early in that morning? There are a lot of people that get up in the morning to go do rope drop. When you go to get on those buses and to go over to some of the parks or even the monorail, man, they're packed. And you're thinking, where are all these people coming from? But taking the minivan, it's just me and my family, and we're able to get off the minivan and kind of duck and dodge all the crowds to kind of get up to where we need to go instead of going with the crowd and following the crowd. So it was really worth it. We actually only did it for the Animal Kingdom because it worked out, but totally, I suggest that for so many people to do. It was well worth the cost. Know your route. So that's another trick. Know where you're going to go. Before we went on a trip, I am a Disney planner. I love going to the parks. I love researching what's new, things that we need to do, the old things that are the staples that I'm always like, yes, I have to do that. So I do my research. So when I knew that we were going to do rope drop this time, I researched it out. Because I've been to the parks many times, I knew kind of those shortcuts. So I knew how to sometimes cut through a store or cut through, where they're eating or plaza to get around the crowds. So instead of following those crowds, I was able to get around them. Sometimes I even went the long way instead of the short way because the crowd was walking the short way. And I thought, I can walk faster. I'll go the long way and come back around, and I still beat the crowds. So do your planning. Google the maps, look at the stores, look at the maps to the parks, research it, go on YouTube and find people that did it and get their information and how they did it. There are detailed plans on how you can get it done. That helps a lot. The other thing you have to do is you have to follow the cast members. For rope drop in the morning, they literally have a rope that they're holding across, and they're holding this rope and you're standing behind the rope and you can't go past them. So when you're walking, it's like a parade. You're walking down and everybody's standing behind this rope and they're walking you inch by inch towards the back of the park. And on some of the bigger rides, like in the Magic Kingdom, they take you right to Mine Train because that's the most popular ride. And so they take you right up to the Mine Train. It's called the queue. And when you get into that line, they basically funnel you into that line and they just keep funneling you till the whole line fills up and backs up and you're in. You're not getting around them. You're not getting out of line. You pretty much are following the crowd and you're in the line. So the sooner you are in that line, the closer you are to the front, the closer you're going to be to getting on that ride. So the other thing was Flight of Passage. So at the Animal Kingdom, this was different because at Flight of Passage, the whole land in the Avatar land, there are winding paths and different places to go. Think you're just going to go to the ride. Well, they don't take you to the ride. They take you right, then left, then down a path, and come back around. And you're thinking, wait, the ride's way over there. Why am I walking this way? Well, they walk you the way that the queue line goes, or the overflow of the queue line goes. And you get right up to the ride. Even though you think you're going to run to the ride, again, you have to follow behind that rope drop. So I hope that helps because it gives you a little bit what you need to do. The other thing I'll tell you is that stick with your gut. If you know your kids don't want to get on something, but that's what everybody's getting on and that's the most, exciting thing, don't do it. Go with your gut. If you know my kids are going to enjoy this ride better than this ride, then go there. Or as a family, we all want to get on this, but only some of us want to get on this later, then go to the ride where you can do everybody. It works so much better. Also, work with in conjunction with your fast passes. So a fast pass for something, maybe you don't need to rope drop that ride and there's a different choice that you want to rope drop. All of those things are things that you have to take into account when you're doing rope drop and you're planning for your early mornings. I hope that helped a little bit. And if you like this video, give a little thumbs up down below, and I hope to see you again.